So my name is Craig Fitzsimmons. I'm a second mate on car ferries with Stena Line. At the moment I'm covering the chief mate's roster, so I'll take you through a day as chief mate. So starting about, I get a call from the second mate on nights, approximately half an hour before we reach the Kish Lighthouse approaching Dublin. This gives me time to get showered, get changed, and I just head right up the stairs then. It's only a couple of doors away, so I don't get any breakfast, I just go up the bridge straight away. Once I'm on the bridge, I'll take the captain takes the con and I'll take over the checklist. So as we approach our berth, we have to go through pilotage waters and a narrow channel through Dublin. So the checklist just pretty much describes what's going to happen, what needs to be started, such as the thrusters and reporting points into the VTS and whatnot. So we go through that, and as we approach the berth, I'm just double checking everything the captain does, making sure we're within the line, we're in the right position. Then as we go into the swing and turn into Dublin to get into our berth, I'll be on the comms, so I'll tell them when to open the bow door, when to open the stern door, then we'll tie up. As we get close to the position, I'll read out the distances, so the moon stations forward and aft know how far off we are. And once we get in position, I'll tell them to lower the ramp. We'll start filling the book, contact shoreside, and once the engines are stopped, the ramp's landed, I then let the car decks know it's clear to discharge. So then we start getting rid of all the traffic and getting rid of the trailers. At that point then I'll go down and have my breakfast. Normally I just have some porridge. The second mate on nights will come up and give me the load list. I do that load in the morning, the first one. Normally it's pretty quiet, sometimes it can be a bit busy. And depending on how busy it is when I head back down to the car deck. But normally I'll have the chance to do 15 minutes, maybe I'll do a bit of paperwork or just look at the planned maintenance system or answer some emails if I get the chance. Then I'll go down to the car deck and I'll start the load. So normally I just take the cars, Arctics drops down on deck 3, and get it on. As the loading officer for that load, I have to relay between the bosun on deck 5 as well. Between the two of us we load the whole ship and all 4 decks, and basically it's just making sure we get the ship properly loaded and everything's upright and the ship's trimmed correctly. Once that's done, we try and close up that bit earlier just to save fuel, so it's quite a rush just to get everything on at the end. Once everything's on, we run up to the mooring stations. I'll close the bow door and the bow visor, and I have to contact the bridge, and then they confirm the bow door and visor's closed. Get all the car deck fans off, turn the timers off, turn the healing system off, and head down aft. We then let go of the ship. Sometimes I make it down for time for let go, depending on how pressed we are for time. They might let go before I get there. But the mooring gang's aft anyway. I go down aft, and as we back out into the river in Dublin, I'll give the distances and tell them if they're swinging clear. We swing out and then we start heading down the river. I'll then leave the car deck, make my way up to deck 7, checking deck 5 and deck 7, checking all the cargo's stowed correctly, everything's lashed, and all the doors are locked at the entrance to the car deck so the passengers can't get down. Once I've done that, I'll go up to the bridge, I'll notify them of any possessions of any dangerous goods we might be carrying, and then I'll take the checklist off of the night master, who then returns to his bed, and me and the captain will then go out of Dublin in the pilotage waters, and again it's the same thing, working with the checklists, making sure the reporting points are done and heading out. Once we get to the Kish Lighthouse and we're full away on passage, the captain hands the con over to me and I take control of the ship as she crosses from Dublin to Holyhead. So normally in this passage I'll check the radios, I'll fill out the logbook with the ballast tank positions. Quite often now I'll write in the diary of any jobs that have been done previously, any jobs that are looking to get done. I normally confer with the bosun to see what work's getting done today, whether it's just normal maintenance, if we're painting somewhere, or if there's specific prep or anything to be done. Or there might be special jobs of the day such as launching lifeboats or fast rescue boats. So on the way across, it's normally pretty quiet, there's not too much traffic, if there is we'll avoid it. And as we approach Holyhead, I'll give the shout to the master and the bosun 10 minutes before we get there. That gives them time to, bosun time to clear the anchors, the master wanders up, He then takes the con off me and we approach Holyhead. Again, I'll go into the checklist, make sure everything's started, all the reporting points are done, and we'll go into the Holyhead swing and back in. Much the same as into Dublin, I'll do the comms and I'll shout out the distances to the mooring parties as we come back. Once we're in Holyhead, tied up, we'll lower the ramp, discharge everything, and it's the same again, just getting everything loaded. Difference is this time it will be the second mate or the third mate doing the load down on deck 3 and the bosun again on deck 5. Quite often, once we're in, we're tied up, everything's discharged, I'll run down, I'll grab my lunch quickly as they're still discharging, and once I've had my lunch, I'll put on my high vis and my helmet and I'll run down and relieve the second mate in the car deck so he can run up and get his lunch. Sometimes we can't do this depending on, there were some interviews last week I had to attend, or there could be a lifeboat to launch or a fast rescue boat, in which case I can't make it, but I always try and make it down so the guy can get a hot lunch. He runs up, I'll stay in the car deck, I'll check the load, I'll watch the positions of DGs as they come in. Mostly it's just a security thing as well to make sure someone's at the stern door, so no intruders get on. If anyone does come on, I can check their badges and sign them in and whatnot. Once that's done, second mate comes back down, he relieves me. I'll then prep the bridge for departure, maybe have a couple of minutes to do a bit more paperwork. Prep the bridge, I'll check the gear, I'll get the ship stability set up, and then mostly it's keeping an eye on what's left cargo wise to come on. As I say, it's a bit of a rush, we want to leave early, so constantly watching what's in the patch, listening to the shore radio, see what's left, how long we're looking at, then I inform the port when we're approximately 15 minutes prior to departure. Once we've done that, it's a mad rush at the end, you'll get the figures, you'll fire it on the stability computer, you'll get the drafts, you'll inform everyone, get everyone to stations, close the stern ramp, confirm everything's green, all the fans are off, helium pumps off, and then we're ready to go. Again, the captain will grab the con, he'll take it out, I'll just eyeball what he's doing, make sure we get out safely. Then we come out and round the breakwater, I'll monitor the checklist, I'll speak to the port, let them know what figures we have on board. As we turn around the breakwater, we get away. Quite often I'll do a compass error on the ship's gyro compass, and then once we reach the South Stack Lighthouse at Holyhead, we will fill away in passage. The second mate comes up and he takes the con. This watch is generally a watch that I would have off, which gives you about 2 hours 20 minutes to get some stuff done. So you can take it off and then work that a little bit later. Quite often I'll just work through this watch, whether it's, I can do anything really. A lot of it's answering emails, or it could be doing stores orders, stuff like that, to make sure the ship's paint supplies, any deck stores are all upkept, and then the ship's looking well. Quite often do rounds in this one as well. Any bits and bobs really I can get done in this one. And then as we approach Dublin, 10 minutes before we get to the Kish Lighthouse again, the second mate will call me. I'll run up to the bridge and we'll do the pilot into Dublin once again with the checklist. Master has the con. Then once we get to Dublin again, we'll tie up, I'll run down and grab some dinner, and depending on what day it is, we could be doing a lifeboat after dinner with the night gang of ABs and bosun, but that's only the one day, so normally I'll have my dinner, I'll sit down and maybe get a cup of tea. Dinner's dependent entirely on what sort of day it is really. It's fish Friday or it's curry Saturday, roast dinner Sunday, so you kind of get used to it. And once we've had dinner, run down to the car deck, I'll check the load coming back, make sure everything's alright. The second mate's quite happy. Then it's a chance for the second mate to do PMs as well, so I can either give him a hand or I can carry on with some of my own stuff. Generally do the stores order. I normally try and finish up about 7 o'clock at night, so that would be approximately 14 hours after I started, depending on what sort of time we're on. If we are running late, I can end up finishing later because we don't have a second mate to relieve us. But generally I'll finish about 7 o'clock at night and we'd be starting approximately 5 to 5 in the morning. So once I'm finished up, I'll try and get a cup of decaf tea, and then sit in the TV lounge for a bit. Sometimes there's guys in there, sometimes there's not. Then have a bit of conversation. There's not really much else to do, I'm afraid. Sometimes I go to the gym, very rarely. And after I've done that, I head to my bed, maybe read my book for a while, text my girlfriend, and probably go to sleep around about 9 o'clock ish. 20 to 9 we leave Dublin, so maybe at 9 o'clock, yeah, fall asleep.